Hello, and welcome to the Gaia update for the Aries new moon that's happening on April 11th, 12th, 2021. I'm Adrienne Elise. Huge energies leading up to this Aries new moon. This is the beginning of something. We had that incredibly powerful equinox at the beginning of the zodiac where the sun and Venus moved over into the sign of Aries together. The sun and Venus are still close for this Aries new moon. And here we are still feeling these equinox energies. A new moon is always a new chapter, a new start. And the Aries energy is the beginning of the zodiac, a rebirth. And so this is a celebration of life force, rebirth, the new. And the astrology has a lot to say for us about this incredibly potent time. So the sun and Venus will have been together for 3 whole weeks for this new moon, still just a couple of degrees apart, and speaking to a new identity for the feminine, a complete reworking. In fact, all of us are going through an identity crisis with all this Aries energy, a stellium in Aries, with all of these planets here together. And so this is the exalted feminine, the feminine cleaned up, purified, put back in her rightful place. And there's an energy coming up around how we are whole, perhaps the deep mystery of the whole trick of this whole evolution and how the control energies have been able to hold back our spiritual evolution for us from this one thing, the degradation of the feminine. Now, we all have feminine and masculine within us. We've all incarnated in male and female bodies. And so when are we going to get over this divide and conquer thing, So much is speaking to this right now. Mars and Gemini is about overcoming opposites and duality and speaking truth and the warrior for truth. And huge energy for us right now. So it's been secrets and lies that have kept the feminine in degradation. So when we bought into the fact that the female was dark, the feminine was the reason for all of the bad things, scapegoat, right? We lost our opportunity for the sacred dance of the masculine and feminine, the sacred balance and the alchemy of this. And so we are having an opportunity for a rebirth. And the feminine means a rebirth for our whole evolution, our whole spiritual evolution. And astrology has been speaking to this very specifically for the last few years. And so really powerful energies. Now, it's just only been a few days since the sun and Venus were on top of, visiting Chiron. And for this new moon, Mercury has just gone into Aries and will be on top of Chiron. So Mercury took that retrograde in Aquarius. What in the heck are we doing? The Aquarian age, lost back in the old scary movie with that square to the nodes and conjunction with Neptune. Total confusion about what's real, what's not real, but at the same time, holding on to the dream. We've been holding on to the dream, and you have been such an important part in this journey. And but just huge energies coming in around the gratitude for you here on the front lines, on the cutting edge, on the edge of time, the front of time, holding on to the dream. That dream that you've been working on for thousands of years and many lifetimes is so much more real than this bullshit movie. Grab a hold of that dream, live the dream, be the dream. Everyone's discounted this dream. Everyone's told you you're crazy. Everyone's invalidated this dream. Now, this is a huge thing on the table right now. This incredible combination of astrological forces pushing us into absolute frustration and loss of patience with the silencing and the masking of our reality, right? So, what's going on is that with Mercury now in Aries, that's a stellium of planets or 3 planets and an asteroid, Chiron, in Aries. And then the moon for the new moon will be joining So that's quite a lot of Aries, and in its explosion of Aries and Mercury conjunct Chiron right in the mix of it. Now, Chiron is our deepest wounds. In Aries, those wounds are about where we've given up our life force, where we conceded our truth, our spirituality, our life force, our immune system in order to be a part of the game. Pay to play. Now, Venus in Aries will be an exact square to Pluto in Capricorn for this new moon. Now, Capricorn, ever since December, when Jupiter and Saturn, they left Pluto and moved over into Aquarius, and Pluto's been kind of over there, not in the mix so much with this astrology, but Pluto's back. And Venus square Pluto after 3 weeks of exalted new initiation for the feminine, for the high priestess back in her throne. So now Venus is coming up against Pluto, the old guard, in Capricorn, representing what needs to be broken down in the old guard. These are authority contracts. And I'm going to tell you that it's for all of us, for Supernova Soul, it's every single contract you've ever made in any lifetime, big or small, because it all goes back to the one contract where we agreed to play the game and to offer up our life force to the lower matrix, and game over. So Aries wants freedom more than anything. In this stellium of planets in Aries, after Sun, Venus together in Aries for so long, and Chiron, Mercury, break the chains. Break the chains. So everywhere that you have agreed to give over your power, where you agree, where Pluto represents our power, it represents our fear of our own power. So these contracts have to do with fear of our own power. And of course, why would you give it away? You had to be programmed to fear it. You go back to the stories of Atlantean catastrophes, and then of course you'll hand it over willingly. Isn't this what's going on? All of our rights, all of our God-given access to life, to rights, life, and life force, we're just handing it over because of this fear of this little virus that we don't even know if it's real. And 99.9% of people survive, right? So this is the energy that's coming up. So we got this massive Aries explosion of, I'm done, break the chains. No more contracts, no more giving my power away, right? And then Mars, the warrior in Gemini, the voice, the truth, the expression, the coming out of duality consciousness, the twins. And Mars in square to Neptune for this, coming up just the couple days before this new moon is when Mars will be exactly square Neptune. Now Mars is like, come on, let's go. The warrior for voice and truth in Gemini, communication, and in square to Neptune in Pisces. This old reality, this old movie, the delusions, everything. So the only way that they've been able to control us really is through delusions of fear and trauma. And so Mars is coming right up against pushing on the delusions. This is an opportunity for us to break the spell. We're all so frustrated with the programming, with the stupid people, with the sheeple, the masked sheeple that cannot think logically, and you cannot bring up logic, or you are going to be burned at the stake, is what it feels like. And it's just total frustration with this situation right here. But this energy, Mars square Neptune, is a challenge to every lie and every delusion out there. Because ultimately, truth wins. Facts matter. Lies will not hold up. That place you get to in that narcissistic delusional relationship, and you're like, oh my God. And then you see the abuse, and then you see that you allowed the abuse, and it's really hard to look at, and most people choose to ignore it and stay where it's safe, so-called safe in that relationship, right? Can't do it anymore. Maybe this is why there's such a resistance to truth right now, because if you see a little truth and you crack open the matrix a little tiny bit, the house of cards just completely falls. And if that's your program of reality, then you better cling to it because that's all you got. But the Aries energy is saying, no, you guys, there's so much more. And it's our life force. It's our God-given right to God consciousness. This is supposed to be an ecstatic experience. If you know, imagine that. Just think through it, right? You are aware, supernova soul, from all you've gone through, that you have direct access to God consciousness. I know they're trying to keep you depressed and sad and hopeless, but you know, because you've made it this far and you're still awake and you've got this inside of you. And when you can say, I am God consciousness, aware the fact. When you're aware of the fact that you are God consciousness, you understand, or the next step, the leap we're being asked to make is that since you're aware of what's happening, that's not who you are. Since you're aware of the movie, since you're aware of all these traps of the lower psychological constructs, you're aware of them, you see them, you observe them, that's not who you are. So what are you? That's what this astrology is saying. Who are you? What are you? Live it, breathe it, be it. It's your only chance. It's our only chance. And you're just kicking ass for humanity right now. Maybe feeling more beaten down, alone, and disconnected than ever before and clueless about where you're going. We're all having to go through an ego death here. And it's washing away. I mean, so those contracts and the fears and traumas hold those old stories in place. And so everything's up for review. Venus, square Pluto, wrecking ball to everything that's kept you, your feminine, your life force, you disconnected from this God force within you. And so it's all on the table. And we're being pushed into the corner and asked to step over into the other side. And maybe that's why it's this weird feeling right now where nothing's working out. It's goopy, it's mess. You can't get anywhere because you're in the maze, and you got to come to the corner of each corner before you realize you're in a maze, before you can see your way out of it. And the way out of it is ultimately we have to make that leap by ourselves. But right on the other side, our soul group is there. We're all going through it. We're all here together. We came here to work together. Don't let them steal your dream. When they stole your power, and they stole your life force, they tried to steal your spiritual dream, but guess what? No matter what they did to you, you came back stronger. That was the mythology. This is the mythos of the Christ mystery and Yeshua's story. He's overcoming the physical. And we know we're so much more. And so right now, overcoming the physical is overcoming all of those constructs, all those identity constructs, all the places we were trying to be something for somebody else, everywhere that we're attached to these stories that keep playing out, going to the edge of the corners of the maze and being like, now, that's the thing. You've got to see the matrix before you can know that you're stuck in it. And that's a lot of what's playing out for humanity right now. And it's so frustrating to be surrounded by people that refuse to see, don't want to see, and are going to be angry at you. Now, this is an interesting thing because a lot of us want to, with this Mars empowerment, it's just like, oh God, I just want to yell out some truth, It's like, it'd get you into trouble, and we're on the verge of social credit where you don't get to have that loan or to go to that concert, if you don't play by the rules, you don't accept this agenda, you don't become part of this AI globalist agenda. You just cut out, kind of like they cut out the feminine, except for that she just got stronger, right? And you have only gotten stronger with everything they've done to you. They cannot take away your soul essence. They cannot take away your beautiful, precious soul spiritual gifts. This is all you want. Is to be who you really are, to express your potential. It's all you want. And guess what? That potential has nil to do with all those old stories that are keeping you trapped. Nothing. You let go of all of that. What do you have left? This is this astrology is asking us to do. What do you have left? Now, we're all coming to this because the Mars square Neptune has an energy of breaking the spell of the mind control, which is why we can't talk sense to people right now. You've already gone through masking and mind control in past lives, or maybe on another level of reality. You're awake to it. And it's like, oh, having to just be in this soup. That's how they're pulling you back in again and again. So we have to like be true to our true reality, our life force, our immune system, our power, and live and breathe that energy. When you breathe and acknowledge nature, the natural world, you're acknowledging your natural state. You're holding a grid of a natural world as opposed to the digital AI simulation. And it's really important right now. So incredibly crucial times. This astrology, the lining up of all these things is so intense, and the pressure to break the spell of the delusions. But that's where I was going, is that this energy of the delusions, the program, the software that humanity is, we're all so programmed from an early age with TV. A lot of us have escaped a lot of the programming. We've been programmed for lifetimes. But if that's all you know, you have to understand that that's who you think you are. You haven't had this beautiful experience of knowing that you're something more. And you have the wealth of this. You spiritual being, you supernova souls made it through all this. You have the wealth here. You have what it takes. You win. You already won. Think about it. Think about the pain of losing your software program, thinking that's who you are. And everybody just going crazy zombie land. This is what we're trying to avoid. And this seems to be a very strange movie playing out so that humanity can understand that they've been prisoners and slaves in order to break free of being prisoners of slaves. And this Aries energy is that. Break the chains. Break the chains everywhere where you played out somebody else's agenda. Right? So we're breaking contracts on all levels. This is galactic contracts too, because I can see this energy of like, we trust higher forces because it feels good, like, oh, we're not alone and we have help. But a lot of those energies that could get in this lower matrix weren't actually helpful, more manipulative, And so if you're operating in those levels of you're giving your power away, you're playing into somebody else's agenda. And this is kind of where even most spiritual people on the planet, so-called spiritual, still playing out some agendas. It's almost like there's a story of hierarchical levels of authority contracts, right? So we got our family relationships, we got our intimate relationships, and we're like working through, we got societal, contractual arrangements, country, earth, galactic stuff. And it's like, we have to rescind all offers of playing in anybody else's movie because that's an agenda. You are here for the agenda. Your truth, your gift, your light, everything you want to express, that truth, that is absolutely in alignment with the divine timeline. Thy will. So this is part of the Aries energy, the ego death of breaking, letting it all go, and just like thy will. Deep and profound total trust. It's not a trust in God or something outside of you. It's a trust in you and all you've gone through to be here right now. And you and your divine timeline, which is the divine timeline, which is like so many souls are with you working on this right now. Don't lose heart. We're all here doing it. And just incredibly, incredibly powerful times. Now, so we've got these tension squares. Mars with the voice and the truth coming up against the delusions, breaking the spell of the lower matrix, breaking the spell of the mind control. All it takes is one little bit of truth from a trusted source. There's all kinds of... There's an avalanche of truth coming and there's no way around it. And the more that we don't see the truth, the bigger the avalanche when it comes, and it feels imminent, And this Mars square Neptune is saying, yeah, break the spell. It's time to break the spell. Now we go to a new now we do something different. Now we move into this other chapter, and that's your ticket out of the matrix, this astrology. So then we have Venus square Pluto, and this is this tension around contractual arrangements where the feminine has agreed to not access her precious life force power, her sexual energy, this chi, life force, vital force, the feminine kind of a form of electricity, which is also free energy. It's all energy. And so the feminine, in all of us coming up against everywhere where we said that it wasn't ours to have or shied away because of fear, and break all those contracts and take back your power. Why would you have it if you can't handle it? Why would you be here? Why would you make it through all you've gone through to be awake right here, right now, if you weren't here for full expression? I see this in the birth chart of supernova souls. It's like, yeah, you could complete your karma and get things all kind of cleaned up this lifetime. A lot on your plate there. It's common in the supernova soul birth chart, but that's not going to satisfy you. You came here for nothing short than a full expression. You did not go through all this in this earth evolution to not have full expression. And that is exactly the energy of this Aries explosion. And so focus on that. If you feel this anxiety, pent up frustration, impatience, the Aries energy, use your body, exercise, get out in nature, breathe, be creative, express yourself, exercise your right for creation energy, and you'll feel way better. And so anyway, we've got these squares, but we've also got these really sweet transits of support. Venus and Mars, so they're both in these intense squares. Mars, truth, trying to break the spell of the delusion and mind control. And the message there is kind of like, hey, it's gone on for a really long time, right? What happens if you just flip that switch? But it's got to happen. And coming up against the authority and the chains, breaking authority contracts and taking back our power. But both of those planets, Venus and Mars, are personal planets of masculine and feminine, are in positive relationships to Jupiter this week. So Venus is in sextile to Jupiter in Aquarius, and this is like a magic gateway, expanding possibilities for the new age. So it's saying that, girl, you got to break those chains if you're ever going to step into your exalted power. And man, you better speak up for her. Divine masculine, you better stand up. Pick that girl up and celebrate that vital force. It's a gift for all. We've been fighting over this. All our relationships, this is what it's breaking down to. Like our whole relationship paradigm has all been about trying to get energy from other people. You got to manipulate. We don't even know we're doing it. It's disgusting. And every single time we play those games in the lower chakra play of like, I'm going to get energy from you in this situation, we're denying our own birthright to our vital force. Hold and contain that energy in your power. And how about you demand the people around you do the same? Because if you're going to co-create and they're going to leak out power, they're leaking your power. So we are having a new standard of relationships, but it's like we've got to, in each moment, claim our own and contain our own power and start loving and experiencing this. There's no need to go get anything outside of yourself when you got this turned on. No more games. And so Venus in sextile to Jupiter is saying that breaking the contracts and claim back our life force is how we expand into new possibilities in the new age. Now, Mars is in trine to Jupiter, and that's saying it can be harmonized through the voice, through the empowered masculine saying, hey girl, I got you. I want to see that fountain of never-ending, perpetual motion, zest, flourish. Let's do this, right? And so now Mars in Gemini in trine to Jupiter is saying that that voice and that empowered masculine and that truth and the empowered enlightened leaders of the Gemini energy is how we harmonize into our expansion into the new age. So both the masculine and feminine getting this massive empowerment because we got the square and the sextiles and trines, and that's when you really get somewhere. This astrology, new moon in Aries, right after the equinox, in these expansive energies of this time, this is this empowerment. The king, the rightful rulers back on their throne. Your masculine and divine. Your feminine divine. Purified in your own free energy system of just this. No wonder they don't want us together. So we'd help each other figure this out. And then the normies, it'd be contagious. And they'd be like, what's going on over there? Wait, I want to play games and get it. It's like, no, not for sale. Now, the other thing, the backdrop of April, in addition to these positive transits with Jupiter of Mars and Venus, we've got Saturn in Aquarius, speaking to trying to build in this new age, in trying to the North Node, and that's that empowered voice. And so it's a very sweet energy, and it's nudging us into truth. But the squares are like, you're at the end of the road. Do you see now how you've allowed yourself to be in a dead-end world? This is our quarantine. Earth has been in quarantine. You as a spiritual being has been in quarantine. Everybody around you continually invalidating and devaluing your spirit. And now it's all that is. It's the most important thing, and it's the only thing that's going to get us out of this trap. So that's your turnaround. Your breaking of the chains is honoring who you are and what you've gone through. You know this. And that's the power empowerment thing, because with this Gemini empowerment, we want to speak our truth. And it's in the Aries energy, it's like getting really uncomfortable to not speak, to just say something logical, But it feels like you're going to get carted away or burned at the stake if you do. But the real message for supernova souls, for you advanced souls that are here on the cutting edge, to lead the way and to be in the front of time and to establish this other alternative outside of the matrix. For you, it is about living and breathing in this truth. And it's almost, you can use it like an exercise. You can say in your mind what you'd like to say. Did you know you have a mask on outside alone out in the woods? What is going to get you? So, but not even in that tone, just the truth of being hooked back up to life force and living and breathing that. And that reveals all lies, breaks down all boundaries. It's like the fire in the heart is back. This energy, this is a resurrection energy, the Easter energy but at this time and this year, in this time on our planet, it's the descending of Christ consciousness. And that's happening through souls being born in the pure Christ consciousness energy, a whole group of souls landing, babies being born. It's advanced souls like you receiving back your Christed self that you've already worked on. It's the whole reason you're here. That's the only thing. It's the only reason you bothered coming here. Are you gonna take it now? And then we've got people, souls on all levels and light worker beings on all levels of consciousness holding space for this descending of Christ consciousness and the resurrection of humanity. And you are taking part in that. Now, this is this thing of like, we talked about how hard it is for the regular people to let go of their program because that's who they think they are. right? If you've been taught for lifetimes that you are your car, you are your house, you are your clothes, you are your social status, you are your male or female, you are your role in life, and then all that's kind of taken away, you don't know who you are and you're going to go crazy, So this is why supernova souls are out there on the brave edge. Like, well, I've been crazy this whole time, so what else, and claiming that life force back and saying, wash it all away, because that shit, all that I piled up of constructs of who I was, that's not who I am. I don't want to be that. I have no interest in that. Don't put 1 second over there. Show up in your truth. See what happens. Be in the revolutionary act of like, I don't even need to say it. I'm going to be it. And I don't care what it does to you. You are the perfect threat in the perfect storm to the lower matrix. And you have done so much and gone through so much. And thank you so much for being here. And I hope you'll consider joining me for a live activation for this new moon. It's going to be the whole day before the new moon in Aries on the 10th of April at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And what this is going to do, this is at the right when the moon goes into Aries. And so when the moon goes into Aries, it's going to start this Aries stellium. So by doing the activation, then we can just really set a vibrational field to receive your Christ itself, your new life, who you really are. Let it all the rest wash away. Let go of all the old stories, but maybe it's showing you how to have, it's so much easier for you because you've gone through so much ego death already, but it's helping you have compassion for, as those stories break down for the rest of humanity. And they're like, ah! And then they see you over there with this fire in your heart and your nuclear fusion. They're like, wait a minute. Do you see? You being you is the medicine and the balm, and it's all okay. You say it's all okay. I'm not holding on to all that crap. Why do you want to hold on to all that crap? So powerful and potent, and this is where it's like massive activation as these planets start to move into Taurus, an activation of the wealth that you are and the substance. So we're all on schedule. I know it feels like we're lost in the weeds forever, but stick with me, stick together, stick on the supernova light ship. We made it this far, we're doing it. And don't miss this incredibly powerful energy of this Aries new moon. I hope you'll consider joining me for that activation, or I'll see you on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste. Hang in there. Very incredibly powerful, potent times. Claim your life force in each moment. Be present with the living, breathing aliveness that is Christ consciousness, descending, incarnating as your true self. Beautiful. So thanks so much for being with me. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.